Well, talking about AI and the future, I mean, Ashley also talked about coders there. Let's take that conversation further with a software engineer at JP Morgan. Titilayo Dufoke joins us virtually from the UK. Titilayo, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. So everybody is talking about AI now. In the morning, I had that conversation. I'm sure you got a bit of it. And the thing is, making AI work for Nigeria and not just adopting what's out there. So for you as a software engineer, I was talking to Ashley about the youth involvement. How soon can we get the youth involved? I know you're more interested in coding, which is even done in primary schools now. But I wonder if the children really understand what they're doing or if it's just a subject to pass during examinations.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Titilayo Dufoke, and I'm a software engineer at JP Morgan, and I'm also a co-founder of AlgoBase, a leading Nigerian-led platform which helps children to learn and to learn coding in an interactive way. So answering the question you just asked, right? So coding, I'm starting from the latter one about if coding in primary schools is just a subject that people are just trying to pass in school, or is something that is actually being useful. The whole idea about coding is beyond just learning how to code, right? It's also helping the children's cognitive features, enabling them, right, to be problem solvers, right, to be analytic thinkers, right, beyond just them like typing, writing code, right, and displaying their ability to write code. It's also helping them be great great problem solvers, right? And in this modern generation, right, and with the fact that AI is influencing the world in every area, not just limited to tech, it's important that children, right, are exposed to these technologies at an early stage and they understand the real concept, so they are not just left behind, right? And it will give them a head start in the global economy, and they can compete with other children all over the world and not just them being limited.
Yeah, but I mean, even when we look at, we talked about those who are even studying computer science, who are not even very familiar with the computer. So when you now talk about children and coding, how do we get the message, drill the message down for them to understand this is a lifelong lesson or knowledge you're gathering, which you would have to grow and make it practical? Because I believe when we make it practical, it is easier to be related with and easier to learn and, you know, take up to the next stage.
Yes. So I don't exactly agree with your first statement because I myself, I graduated from the University of Lagos with a computer science degree. And from the University of Lagos, we are being exposed, right, to using computers, right, and to code. And I got my job at JP Morgan from Nigeria and as a university graduate. So I would say, right, that these resources are available, right, that is coding, and also I think the importance of this AI, computer science, and the likes are not exactly emphasized enough, right? Maybe if we have it, because from most schools, they don't have coding incorporated in their curriculum. So I would say if for the next generation or for the younger ones coming behind, if they are being exposed to computer from a early age and at least they're giving digital literacy, right, they have that exposure to computers. Everybody has access to a smartphones. Everybody knows what their smartphone can do, right? And I think now everybody also know how useful and how it's important to at least be on the internet. But it's also important that people can also have access to computers, to understand what AI is about, right? And the influence or the effect of AI in today's world and also in the years to come. So if we keep engaging the younger ones, right, and allowing them understand the importance of this concept I think it may spark their interest, right? And it will not just be just a curriculum that is added in the schoolwork, but it's also something that they are seeing that would also change their lives, right, in the future.
Okay,
So
so
them having the right
all right.
perspective about
So what should coding for children look like? We know with children it has to be colorful, pictorial, and all of that. So how do you get this message, and still get their attention?
So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm the co-founder of AlgoBase, right? And AlgoBase is a platform that helps teach children how to code. So we have coding tools like Scratch, Tinker that are in like a playful and interactive way that can keep the children engaged, right, in learning how to code. So beyond just the fun interactive interface they can see, it's also helping them build their problem solving capability,
But
their ability.
Titilayo, so I'm talking about, the larger picture. You are in the UK, I'm in Nigeria, yeah? So I'm
Yeah.
talking about the larger average picture of a Nigerian school. And I've seen coding, as part of the subjects in a
Okay.
lot of
So,
primary school. Um,
yeah. So
I mean, when you look at the realities that we have to face back here home.
okay, I get what you mean. Though I started off my coding career from Nigeria before I got the opportunity to be in the UK, right? I understand that there can be some factors, right, that can limit people's access to like internet, power, and the likes. But it's not going to cost a school, right, so much if they can at least start from a coding hub, a coding center, a place whereby they can just have like an internet and a laptop, right, whereby they can begin to teach these children how to code. It does not have to be something big, but just starting off from a hub or a club, right, that can begin to influence these children. And you know how with coding, right? It's not all the children that will be interested eventually, but at least it will help them have some basic and some required mental development that would help them as they progress in life. So I think having a hub, right, starting from a hub can help solve that problem from a very primary level before it now advance to something bigger and into the classrooms.
Okay, so since you deal with children, what are some of the signs that perhaps a parent could see to say, oh, I think I ought to direct this child towards, AI, coding, and all of that? What are some of those signs, perhaps, that a parent may notice early in the child's life?
So one of the signs is the child's curiosity with gadgets like phones. You would have some children that are just really interested. It can just be from video games, all right? Maybe the child loves playing video
But
games.
Titilayo, it
And
seems all the
you
children
can
now all the young children now are interested in games and gadgets. I don't know if there's a child now that would not take your gadget and almost put your pin and then just get on to play a game or do one thing or the other. So that means all the children of this generation, will be coders.
yes, but they also need to have the curiosity to think about how those games actually came to be. What's making those games play the way they are playing? Why? Like they need to be curious to know the why beyond the surface level, right? And if you see a child that have picked up this curiosity and is willing to know and understand the reason or how a game works beyond what they can see in the physical state, I think this would make you know as a parent that this child wants to figure out how to actually build these games or do something like that. And when you have a child that is curious, right, you can introduce that child to coding schools. There are a lot of coding schools, and I can recommend AlgoBase also. And from there, right, they will have instructors that would help build this curiosity that they've already begun to build. And from YouTube, even when they go on YouTube, they can begin to get some answers, right? But if they need somebody that's going to guide them, right, and to lead them to actually get the exact answers they need, right, they will need to like get an instructor, especially if the parents themselves are not tech enthusiasts.
All right, thank you for that. I mean, that's it, because I mean, almost all children now are interested in gadgets, and they seem to do very well with it. But I mean, taking it beyond just playing with it to the curiosity, I think that really helps. But when you look back home here, Titilayo, look at our reality, especially in the rural areas. There's so many children with talent and all that, but it does seem like the status in life may deprive them of some of this, because even as you noted earlier, the issue of infrastructure, access to the internet, and all of that, these are deterring factors.
Yeah. So from that perspective, this should now be a call for government, and not just government, right, but NGOs, right, to also take up this problem, right, and to begin to solve. So also at AlgoBase, we are looking at doing a summer boot camp, right, where we can give people access to our resources. But the only limiting factor will be that for children who are underprivileged and do not have access to a computer, for instance now, or even internet, right, they are not privileged to have these resources. And this is the major tool that would enrich them, right, to get the knowledge that they want about coding, about AI, and whatsoever they want. So from that perspective, that's a limiting factor. And this is where I call on the government to begin to invest in community tech hubs, right, and make digital literacy part of the core primary curriculum. In every school, there should at least be a computer lab. Every school should be able to boast of a computer lab that have laptops working, right? So even if these children don't have access to these devices at home, in schools, they should be able to have access to these devices, right? And they should be privileged to have access to it and to actually use it. So in them playing with the practical aspect of it, most times it spurs the curiosity to want to dive further into it and to know more.
Yeah, and I can't imagine what Nigeria would be losing out if we don't empower the children to be able to take up this role and, you know, hone their skills in future, because obviously the world is going the way of AI.
Yes, and if care is not taken, if care is not, if we don't pay attention to it, we tend to lose these resources that we would have created or gotten from the children, right? And there is this quote that says that tech is the new oil, right? And our children are the well. And if we don't train our children to tap into these resources, right, we will not be able to stand on the global stage, right, and to even compete with on the global level, because globally you see children doing a lot of things, right, with coding, creating problems, solving solutions with robotics and even AI, right? So
All right, well, we do hope that we don't lose out of that. Titilayo Dufuoke, software engineer with JP Morgan. Thank you for your time.
thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here this afternoon.